we all need to hear this message. So those who know I was telling you guys, my dad was just diagnosed with cancer. I found out some more news yesterday, and I tell you guys because I just want you guys to pray for him, pray for me, that I would be an encourager in his life. Pray for my family as we walk this road with him, because it's going to be hard. I've been really struggling the last few days, just in my mental, state, just trying to wrap my mind around what's happening. Processing it is very hard. I mean, I don't know if anybody out there has ever experienced something like this. The hardest part is that, I haven't been very close to my father. So, there's a lot of guilt and shame and, things that I feel inside of my heart, like regret for not, loving him through, his, the last 5, 10, 15 years as we've had an opportunity to be closer, and I've sort of put my wall up. I've rejected him. And honestly, it's just all pride. Pride is the root of all sin. And, it's pride that prevents us from living this life in abundance that the Lord offers us. It's pride that keeps us from loving. It's pride that keeps us from forgiving. It's pride that keeps us from extending grace. It's pride. Pride is the root of it all. And pride looks different. And in this case, it was just me being prideful, saying, you did this. You caused this, Dad. Like, you weren't at my basketball games. You allowed that person to walk all over me. You. And I continually point the finger at him, only to be hurting myself, and hurting him as he has come to me and told me how much he regrets the way he fathered me. He regrets so many things, and he wishes he could change so many things. And it wasn't until, this diagnosis came about, and it's all of a sudden like the blinders came off, and I just see him differently, And so that's not why I was really coming. Yes, I ask you guys to pray for him. I pray for healing physically. I'm a believer that God can heal anyone. But my biggest prayer is that, he would be healed spiritually, that he would come to know Christ through all of this, through the way that I love and the way that my family and I serve him in the midst of his biggest trial. But one thing I want to say, and this is the point of me getting on here to go live, is to share with you guys that my dad is one that is totally into his health, working out, saving his money, living his routine life, focusing on how many years he has, and, just living for whatever. And I started thinking about us, and I'm like, don't we do the same? We live for the next vacation. We live for the next weekend. We live for another year. We look forward to all these things, these future plans, building this business, getting this degree, finding that right person, whatever. We live this life thinking that, tomorrow is going to come, and, we have forever. Like, we literally live like we have forever. And so many, especially for believers, it's so clear in the scriptures. The scriptures talk so much about the brevity of life. It talks about that life is a vapor, life is a mist. Today you're here, tomorrow you're gone. I mean, you read Ecclesiastes, it's all over the scriptures. And there's a reason, because life is a mist. And I've been talking to my dad almost every day, since this went down, and I'm going to be honest, I didn't talk to my dad for this much in 20 years, to be honest, as much as I've talked to him the last couple of weeks. And I was asking him this morning, about his outlook on life and how it's changed. And you know what he told me? He told me he doesn't care about the money. He doesn't care about his schedule. He doesn't care about how clean his house is. He doesn't care about all of the things that have dominated his thought process his whole life. His past relationships, his failures, his being rejected, like all of these things. And you guys fill in the blanks for whatever it is that you stress about every single day. All of the things that you worry about. And I'm thinking of my own. You know, these things that just dominate our thought process. And none of them matter. Because now my dad is facing this death sentence. The doctor told him with no treatment, maybe a year. With treatment, maybe 3 to 5 years, which is amazing. All of a sudden, you got a doctor telling you that based on this diagnosis that you have, this cancer that's in your body, it's going to kill you. And I don't know how long you're going to live. So imagine being told, okay, here's the end of your life, you know, and yes, God is in control, but let's face it, you know, yes, God is in control and God can let you live for how many years he wants you to live. But when you have cancer, you know, you're not so sure. Okay, I don't care how much faith you have. Somebody told you had stage 4 cancer right now. What are you going to say? What are you going to think? What are you going to think about? What are you going to worry about? And this is why I talk about living with the end in mind. Living your life backwards. Picture yourself on your deathbed. What do you want your life to look like? What do you want your legacy to be? When people get up and speak about you at your funeral, what do you want them to say about you? And start living that now, while you're healthy, while you have the rest of your life ahead of you. Don't wait until you get to the end, like my dad, and wish and regret, or get to my situation where yes, I'm healthy, but I'm at a point now where I know my days with my dad are limited. They're numbered. And now I see the end. And I'm thinking, man, I just wish I would have done things different. You know, we read in the Psalms, we ask the Lord to teach us to number our days. Lord, teach us to number our days so that we get a heart full of wisdom. You know, James, he implored us to, don't worry about what tomorrow will bring. What is your life? Your life is a mist. It appears for a little time and then it vanishes like that. But there's a reason that the scriptures, I don't want to say warn us, but yes, it's a warning. It's a warning. They're warnings. They're warnings. They're saying, the script, God is saying, don't get caught up. Don't allow this world to distract you and deceive you from living this life to the full.